Hey guys, and welcome to today's video, which is on gender-locked classes in BDO. So what are gender-locked classes? A gender-locked class is a class that has no paired class of the other gender. There are currently 15 classes in BDO. Now, of these 15, 10 of them have a class that accomplishes a similar class fantasy as its male or female counterpart. These are the Wizard and the Witch, the Moose and the Mewa, the Ninja and the Kuno, the Striker and the Mystic, as well as the Warrior and the Valkyrie, although that last one's slightly more tenuous, as Warrior and Valk are a little more different in their pre-awakened forms than the rest of the classes. Now, of course, all of them have different awakened forms, but the fact remains that all of them accomplish the similar class fantasies. Musa and Mewa are the traditional Korean warrior, kind of like samurais, except Korean version. Wizard and Witch is the traditional Western spellcaster. The Ninja and the Kuno is, well, it's the Ninja. It's an assassin class. Striker and Mystic is the Brawler or Monk class. And Warrior and Valkyrie is the traditional Western Warrior class. However, there are 5 classes that are unaccounted for in the paired classes. So there's 15 classes in BDO, 10 of them are paired, and then there are 5 other ones that do not have a male or female opposite. These are the Sorceress. So, Sorceress. Just click right here. The Tamer. The Ranger. The Berserker. And, of course, the Dark Knight. And soon there will be a 6th one, which is the Lawn. She is released in Korea. She looks amazing. Now, if you look at these classes, the thing you will notice is that 4 of the 5, and soon to be 5 of the 6, are female. There is only one class that does not have a opposing counterpart of the opposite gender that is male, and that is the Berserker. Now, sure, you can say, oh, there are lore reasons behind these. They sell more characters when they make female-only versions of the class, and sure, these are reasons, but they are not necessarily good reasons, and especially in a sandbox MMO such as BDO, where as a sandbox it's supposed to be you're basically allowed to do anything. It really kind of falls short when I can do anything except make the character I want to look or act how I want them. BDO's character creator is simultaneously pretty much the nicest character creator in all of MMOs, with its deep customization, the huge amount of options that you can do. Like, if I look at this, like, do you see all these sliders and ways to make her totally different? I can make her have a fat face. I can make her have a stupid-looking nose. I can make her ears longer, shorter. I can make her eyes look really, really weird or really, really nice. Like, it has got the most in-depth character creator pretty much of any MMO I've ever played. And then they consign you to a few tiny preset characters that you cannot change. You can change them a lot, but in the end, the Dark Knight's pretty much always going to be a cute, slim, elfin girl. Like, let's see how fat I can make this chick. So the fattest I can make the Dark Knight is... Oops. Dark Knight can be thick. Damn. I apologize for that. I'm too white to really do that. So I mean that's not terrible, but like where's my obese character archetype? Where like, I mean that's better than a lot of games, but in the end she's still a fairly good-looking female. It would take a lot of work for me to make her look truly messed up. And when the game released, the biggest point of contention for this was the Wizard, who, when the game released, did not have... let's go back to class selection here. So these days the Wizard has... where is the Wizard? There he is. A young look. Like, you can create a young Wizard, right? Like, the Witch was always young. The Wizard, though, when the game released in, well, everywhere, there was only these... So if you look at the face types of the Wizard, you'll see that 6 out of 7 are the old one. And the only one that stands out is the young one, because this one was added later, because the community tried and made so many various middle-aged and attempting to look young archetypes of this wrinkly old man right here. And honestly, this is one of the places where I really think that BDO is kind of failing, and that's in its character customization. Like, the fact that you are forced into playing, if you want to play certain classes, like, my favorite class is the Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is an amazing class. Its class fantasy is amazing. It uses dark magic and melee combat and fuses them both together in awesome and cool ways. It's got great animations. It's just a great feeling class to play. And I would love to play the Dark Knight as a male. So when I play games like this, I like to make my characters self-insert characters. And what a self-insert character is it is a character that you can insert yourself into. Now, this is a term that is normally used for novels. It's a character that doesn't have too much in the way of customization. Actually, customization is the wrong word. Characterization would be the better word. That the reader can insert themselves into and feel like they are that character in the novel. And it deepens their connection with the novel. Now, in gaming, it's not so much a self-insert character. It's more of designing a character as yourself. You want to basically recreate yourself in the game world. And that's what I strive to do in a lot of these games. Some of my characters, sure, I will make myself a totally different person. They'll have, for example, Skyrim. I've got so many different characters that have various backgrounds and stories to them. But for the most part, I usually try to have at least one character that is basically me in the MMO form. And usually that character is my main. So in this game, the character that looks most like me is probably this guy, my wizard. My striker looks, or not my striker, my Musa looks kind of like me. My striker looks kind of like me, but I think my wizard looks most like me. And honestly, my main, being a Dark Knight, I would love to have look like me. But unfortunately, I'm not a slim elfin woman. I am a kind of slim human man. So that makes it kind of difficult. And really, so the reasons for this, let's get to the reasoning. I'll come back to that in a second. But the reasons they give for not having male or female variants of certain characters are mostly lore reasons. For the Berserker, it's got something to do with giants not having any females, or the females all being dead, or the females just not being warriors, something like that. For the Tamer, only female versions of whatever this chick is, a Nin or something like that? Nen? I don't know. There's some weird name for the race. Only females can control the divine beast Heilang. So I mean, that's honestly the best lore reason, because the elf lore reason is that only female elves, all the male elves are like away at war or something, and all the female elves are left behind. And I want to say there was something about female elves being able to control spirits, but I'm fairly sure male elves can control spirits. And we know there are male elves. They all went off to fight in the war, and they definitely exist. You can meet them. So honestly, the Ranger and the Dark Knight, I do feel they should at least have a male variant for the class. The other one is, so the last one has the least claim to it, and that's Sorceress. Sorceress, there is no reason for there not to be a Sorcerer. No reason. If you go to Tarif, you meet plenty of male Sorcerers. And not just meet plenty of male Sorcerers, you find out that pretty much the most powerful Sorcerer of all time is male. You receive quests from a dead male Sorcerer. There is no reason for there not to be a male sorcerer at all. Like, no reason. And Sorceress is a really cool class as well. Like, I would love to have a Sorceress. And the only reason I didn't go Sorceress is because Dark Knight does pretty much everything Sorceress did. Or at least when I created my Dark Knight. The Dark Knight was basically Sorceress 2.0. Did everything Sorceress did, but better and more easily. And also, once again, you can't create a male Sorceress. There's no Sorcerer, despite there being no real good reason in the lore to prevent it, and in fact, Tarif existing, which really should mean that male sorcerer should be a thing. And then there's Lon coming up. So we have no way of knowing right now if Lon will have a male counterpart. But given the fact that so far there are 4 female only, 1 male only, and that every time they've released a male class, they've released a female class to, since the release of the game, every time they've released a male class, they've also released a female version of that class. They released Musa, we got Meiwa. They released Striker, we got Mystic. So Lon could be the one to break the trend, but I'm not really holding my breath, as they've basically shown that they know that female characters sell better, especially when it comes to Pearl Shop items, than male characters. And that's fine. I accept that. That is a reason. But like I said, in a sandbox MMO, the point is to be able to do whatever you want, right? Like if you want to go exploring, go exploring. You want to go fishing, go fishing. You want to kill stuff for 25 hours in a row, go kill stuff for 25 hours in a row. And that is great. So you should reasonably be allowed to do this as the character that you want to be. If you want to be a badass male berserker, go ahead and be a badass male berserker. But if you want to be a badass female berserker, you should be allowed to be a badass female berserker. And the closest I can think of to being a badass female berserker would probably be the sorceress. And like, that's not really, like, these are totally different classes. Like, you cannot say that the sorceress is the male berserker. The sorceress is the sorceress. The male berserker, the female berserker, doesn't exist. And that's just not really a great thing. Like, it really should not take Black Desert, it should not take the developers that long to create a gender-bent version of the class. They don't need to create a new class entirely. Literally just go into their files, like what they did with Wizard, go in and create a preset that is male. I don't even care if I've got to wear female costumes. Like, go ahead, force me to play as a male sorceress with with my stomach showing. I do not care. Just let me play as a male sorcerer, or let me play as a male Dark Knight. And I can promise you, you could force me to buy a Pearl Shop item to switch my gender on Dark Knight, and I would do it. Like, that is how much I would love to play as a male Dark Knight. But unfortunately, Pearl Abyss has stayed strong. They have basically said, in no uncertain terms, that we are not getting the other versions of these classes, the male and female versions of these classes. And now, I really don't know what to say about this. Like, it sucks. And I'm sure there's going to be people in the comments saying, oh, well, maybe if you want to be able to play a male Dark Knight, or if you want to play a game without presets, then Black Desert's not for you. But I mean, Black Desert is currently the best sandbox MMO on the market. It's other sandbox MMOs, I can't think of any that are actually good. Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft are more theme park MMOs. And for other sandbox MMOs, I can't think of one that's come out any time recently that has done anywhere near as successfully as Black Desert, or that's anywhere near as good looking as Black Desert. Like, if my character looked like my character in old school RuneScape, I wouldn't care. Like, my character in old school RuneScape, like, it's an old school RuneScape character, right? Like, I switched him to the female version to do that one quest where there's a guy that says, no man may defeat me, so you have to switch to a woman. And I just didn't bother switching him back, and wore dresses for like a year and a half because I was too lazy to go to the gender swap dude. But Black Desert, because the game is so beautiful, right? Like, look at these graphics. This is incredible. Like, oh my god. There is like very few, if any, other games on the market that come close to this. And so with this level of customization, being able to customize a character that looks like yourself should be a given, right? But if I want to do that, I have to play certain classes that already naturally have similar features to me. The young wizard has similar features to me because he is a young 20-year-old male. Similarly, I'm a young 20-year-old male, and, well, 25, but give or take. And thus, I can make him look like me. But the striker, despite my best efforts, cannot look as similar to me. Same with the Musa. The Musa or the ninja. The ninja is Eastern. Like, there's no way to stop the ninja from being Eastern. There's no way to stop... the Musa's also Eastern, but he doesn't look as Eastern. And of course I've got my costume on, so it's a little difficult to see the Musa. Let's go over to my ninja here. So I mean, this was my best effort. He's still clearly Eastern though. And with such a deep level of customization, I do not think it is an unreasonable request to be allowed to customize my characters in the way that I would like to customize my characters. Like I said at the beginning of the video, Black Desert has both the best character creator on the market and the worst character creator on the market. It's got the best because the level of customization over the presets that you are given is absolutely incredible. It's the worst because you're constrained to the general parameters of the presets. Once that slider stops sliding, so if I go back here for a second, let's create a Mystic. So once this slider stops sliding, so if I go to the body, there we go. There is nothing more you can do. That is as skinny or fat as I can make her. If we go to her face here, face shape, this is as long as I can make the nose. This is as stubby as I can make the nose. So yes, the character creator is absolutely incredible for what it does, but the constraints they put on it are kind of mind-boggling. When you spend all this time making this, why do you want to prevent the community from really making some truly out-of-the-box and amazing-looking creations? Why do you force them to stick to your general presets, to stick to, like, Mystic has 3 face options, right? Like, if you want to make a Mystic that doesn't look mostly like these, you're SOL. There is nothing you can do. Like, at least, I suppose you could say at least Wizard has 7, although 6 of them are old men, so if you don't want to be an old man, then tough luck. But really, my main problem, it's not with the face, the face or the body types. It really is with the gender. Like, I could handle having to be a slightly chubbier version of a class. I could handle having to be a slightly skinnier version. What I can't handle is being forced to pick between, or not, forced to be unable to pick between a male or female version of a class. Like, I don't really want to pull the guys it's 2018 card, but seriously, Genderlocked in 2018, in a game with a story as weak as Black Desert's. Like, Black Desert has some pretty decent lore, but the hoops you have to jump through are almost as bad as the hoops you have to go through to make a unique looking character. Like, it's really bad to trying to figure out the lore of Black Desert. It's all hidden away in knowledge topics and other parts of the story that are totally unnecessary for you to ever actually go to. So in a game with a story as weak as Black Desert's, trying to use lore reasons and basically in-game explanations for why you're gender locking the class is just not the greatest. Especially when, so a lot of games that gender lock classes or lock you to certain character specific presets do so because they have animations or cutscenes that heavily feature the character in animated form. If the developer is trying to animate a character and allow you to have some level of customization, usually they limit the customization so that the animation doesn't get too messed up if you have really played around with the character creator and really made something outside the scope of what the animation was created for. This game does not have that. Like, there's a few small cutscenes, but mostly it's just the Black Spirit talking to you. There's nothing really that would be a good reason for, right? Like, there's no cutscenes where my character does some like amazing parkour or has a lot of really cool voice lines that they animate the lips and stuff for. Really, there's no that is not a good reason for this game, and I don't think they've ever tried to use that as a reason. But honestly, that is one of the best reasons for gender locking. Like, that is a reason that's totally understandable. If it's a story-driven game and they've gone through the trouble of making really cool animations and stuff for the story, then forcing the characters to use presets that allow them to experience these really cool animations is the trade-off that the player has to go through to witness those really cool animations and to have the story be as awesome as it is. In Black Desert, a game where the story really, like, I would challenge like a lot of people to tell me the story of Black Desert. Most people in game probably cannot do it unless they've specifically gone through the game to figure out what the story is. Like, it's that difficult to find out what the story in Black Desert is. All you really do is follow the Black Spirit and find out a few random things about Serendia and Balanos and Calphion's lust for power. That's all you really find out going through the Black Spirit's quests. That, and apparently the entirety of the game world is overrun with monsters that adventurers constantly have to be putting down. But anyways, in conclusion, personally, I do not think any of the reasons that Pearl Abyss has given for not creating male or female variants of every character are good. With the character customization and the character editor available in Black Desert, there is no real good reason, especially as a sandbox MMO, for Black Desert to force you to play as only a male or only a female version of certain characters. The fact that, especially when the most egregious example of this is for sure the Sorceress, but Dark Knight, Ranger, even Tamer and Berserker, there's not really any reason that I should not be able to make a female giant, or a male elf, or a male whatever Tamers are, or especially a male sorcerer when we know they're in game. As someone that wants to recreate himself in the game, this is really a really annoying part of Black Desert that I would love to see fixed. And I feel that Lawn, when she comes out in probably a month or two, is just going to perpetuate the same trend. We will get the female Lawn, and we will probably never get the male version of the class, which is a shame because Lawn is probably the coolest class I've seen in Black Desert, and Black Desert is a game filled with a lot of cool classes. Anyways, I hope that Pearl Abyss does prove me wrong, as Black Desert is a fun game that I would love to keep playing through 2018, and this isn't a deal breaker for me. Of course I'm going to keep playing Black Desert. My Dark Knight, despite the fact that I'm forced to play as a female, is still my favorite character. My Meiwa is still awesome. My Moose is awesome too, but I also love playing my Meiwa. And honestly, it's just something that I really feel that if Black Desert fixed, it would allow to take another step in becoming one of, if not the best MMO on the market, up there with World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2, and I can't really name any others. I would say Black Desert is probably the third best MMO on the market, if not contending for top 2. ESO, I guess. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. I know I rambled a bit, but it is a topic that, when it comes to MMOs, is somewhat near and dear to my heart. So, anyways, thanks for watching again. Subscribe if you like it, and have a good one.